So please feel free to unmute yourself after this initial period of contemplation. So invite yourself to be effortless. Being effortless is a sort of relaxation into being. Being is our true nature, is there. There is no effort required to be. It's the fabric of our existence. There is nothing that you need to do to be effortless. In being effortless, there is nobody who is being effortless. There's just effortlessness. And it's not a personal effortlessness. Like the sun shines effortlessly, like you hear these words effortlessly. Like you notice the breath, which is the universe breathing. Whatever effort you do arises within this effortlessness. Like when you walk on the shore of the ocean, there may be an impression on the sand, which dissipates. Effortlessly, the bloom on the rose bush unfolds as a rose. And effortlessly, the perfume of the rose fills the rose garden. And we experience the beauty of the perfume. So we move from being somebody who's striving, who's trying really hard to be happy, to this effortless joy of being. We recognize ourselves as this effortless, transparent, aware presence. And we realize within this effortlessness there is no separation. There is no me in time, no you in time and space. In and as this effortlessness, I am the wind, the leaf, the leaves blowing in the wind, the glitter of the sun on the surface of the pond, the play of the birds hopping from branch to branch. I recognize that I am the source and the destination. That it has never been otherwise. The peace of being is revealed as this effortless presence. Wherever we look and wherever we go, searching, we are searching for this causeless peace. Which the mind imagines as a personal experience. while in fact it is the source itself, the abundant love and peace of being that comes onto the mind, shines onto the mind, that is open to receive the light, the understanding that is available to hear the whisper, and for this availability, a yesness is required. And this yesness comes from your understanding that personal achievement is illusion. There is no personal reality, no personal happiness outside of the happiness that shines onto your mind. The mind that is open and available and interested, passionate about truth, about love, which is not personal, but universal. So if there are any questions, please make sure you unmute your mic.
Hello, Magdi. Oh, go ahead. No, you go. Go ahead.
Hello, Esther.
Okay. Hi there.
Yes.
It's so good to be back in satsang. Thank you. Effortlessness feels a lot like celebration. And I've always noticed that, I've always sensed that you do a lot of celebrating. And I wondered if you would speak a little bit about that, about your celebration of life.
So life is a celebration when you are in your freedom, when you are unburdened by the personal sense of incompleteness or the sense that you have unachieved goals. Or the impression that you're waiting for the stars to line up. Oh, the volume, okay. Okay, John. That you are waiting for the stars to line up in order to be happy. When you are identified, then you experience the limitations of that comes along with the identification, whether say positive identification or negative identification. In both cases, in all cases, it's a falsehood and unhappy, limiting, say, reduction of your freedom, of your wholeness. Look how the birds hop from branch to branch or take off flying in the space. It's not possible to get the full significance of celebration as a limited personal consciousness. So in our experience, which is magical, everything appears so wonderfully, so synchronistically, and such a flow when we are the flow, when we're not standing as a boulder in the river, but when we are the boulder and the river bank. There's nothing standing in the way of anything else. So your being is unobstructed by any condition, because your being and the conditions are one. You are the universe. In celebration, there is no effort. There are no conditions and no goal, no particular direction. Because there are no borders, nothing there on this side or that side that needs protection. There isn't a belief about me, whatever that is. Rather, it's moment by moment blooming, this instantaneous blooming of being, of expression of being, the revelation of being as it manifests itself like it is manifesting itself now. But it's undefined, it's undivided, it's non-segmented. It's no mistake, nothing lacking, nothing off in this expression, which is the expression of consciousness. Hearing these words and the breath, the perception. These are theoretical distinctions. So our experience is seamless, beyond words, beyond mind. It's, one could say, seamless awareness, presence, being, love, joy, happiness. So life is celebration where It is life that is celebrating itself as I. Not a separate I, but the universal I as universal celebration, universal being. So we align ourselves with the celebration by trusting the universality of consciousness. And this trust empowers us to let go in this moment of the tendency to live, to act, to perceive, to think as a personal consciousness, as a man, as a woman. And the more we trust the universality of consciousness and its reality, the more it proves itself to us. Via the blooming of the seeds of love. Our mind is slowly pacified, and our body expanded. And you realize a light that's shining through. And onto this particular mind is the universal light of consciousness, which is the reality of our minds, my reality, the reality of I. And celebration is easy. Just watch how the leaf that's dancing in the wind, how easily it celebrates.
Thanks, Magdi. That feels like true happiness.
Yes, it's very beautiful. We are this beauty. Okay, Esther. Any questions?
Hello, Magdi.
Hello, George.
It's great being with you again.
Nice.
I don't have a question as much as a comment, or maybe I could label it a non-question. During the meditation, you said, I am the source and destination. It has never been otherwise. When I heard you say that, I thought, what does he mean by that? Let me see if I can think about that and figure it out. And then I realized, wait a second, I'm using the wrong tool here. This is not about figuring it out. And I just realized the extent to which I misuse that tool. That is, it seems to me that trying to figure it out means trying to take what you said and somehow put it into the context of my own belief system, which is obviously not what I want to do. So anyhow, that was just my comment. I just sort of noticed I was going to say the futility of trying to figure it out, but now it's the hilarity of trying to figure it out, the absurdity of it. That's my comment. Thank you.
Yes, George. Sometimes in the sharing, there are things being heard and also things that are heard at different levels. And some things we hear, they're like mines. A mine goes in, and later, at some point, it it's not a very sweet metaphor, but or like a seed, and at some point it will germinate. We understand what is being said at a different level than at the mind level. Hello, Rahul. And that level, which is not at the mind level, is consciousness. And in a way, that's where we really handshake. We handshake at that level, at the level of oneness. I remember years ago, I think it was 74 or something like that, my first friend, mentor, was a professor at the university. And this was a time when I was sharing with him some of my discoveries, uncoveries. And I was walking up the hill, sort of a little bit of a woodsy hill, to get up to the humanities building, and I found a watch, a small watch, a lady's watch. I picked it up, and I went to see him. I used to visit him regularly. We used to sort of talk about, the self. So I tell him, "Hey, John, as I was coming up to see you, I found this watch." And he said something to the effect that, "Did you find it or did it find you?" And I sort of heard him, and I think it had sort of the same effect that what you're just sharing, George. It was like, not sure how do I think about that at the moment. And I just went on with the meeting with him. But it stayed, it's sort of, it went bing, there was a bing, a little, and at the time and over time it did what it needed to do. So in a way, there's quite a bit of that in the teaching, in the sharing, quite a bit of that. Because you cannot really explain what we are talking about. You explain around it. You go into the orbits and you're conversing in the orbits, but it's about not the orbit, it's about the totality. One could say it's about the center. But at the center, there isn't an orbit. It's nothing spinning, as a metaphor. So there are some conversations or some things that's said that just go straight to the center. It just sort of takes you to the center. And there is no mind. And you have to go back to the orbit to make a story about it, to make a spin about it. But it doesn't matter, the spin about it doesn't matter. What matters is that ding, the center, the spark of from the center. I remember being in retreats and listening to teacher give a talk, and I had a feeling that I was getting everything that was being shared, but I wasn't hearing a word. I'm not sure what was said, but I get it. It's a little bit like that at some point. It's like that. It's not so much what is being said. Of course, it is also what's being said, but it's how it's said, the vibe. It's a different vehicle than the conventional one. And more and more, there is that recognition and that relaxation and the trust of that expression, which is not graspable by the mind. It's more and more sort of almost one could say savoring of that. Which is that which we are.
Hey Magdi, this is John.
Hello, John.
Sharing this stuff makes me want to share something I experienced the other day. I often sit in my car out and I see birds and nature and stuff like that. So anyway, the other day I'm looking out in the front and there's this red rail by a building and birds were flying by, but then another bird just came from out of nowhere and just sat on there. And then it went up on a bush with red berries on it. And it grabbed onto some twig and was holding there, but the wind was blowing. And so it was rocking the bird back and forth. And the bird was hanging on and it was chirping. And it's almost like as if he was enjoying the ride, you know. And but I sat there, and what happened without the thought aspect was that there was a smile, like in my heart, not necessarily even my mouth, but there was a tickle, like a giggle, and and later it reminded me of an infant or a 1-year-old or something like that. You know, it's a lot of times all of a sudden they'll see a leaf move outside, or they'll be in their little crib or their stroller and they see something, they just start giggling. Mm-hmm. And you know, and it's just a very let me say it's a very beautiful place to be. I it it I just see it as, you know, one of these things where people are, when masters are talking about the perfume and whatever, but even on the celebration, that things are just moving and celebrating, and meaning they're moving in beauty, love, whatever. Um, there's no trying to necessarily figure it out, even though my mind does it. My mind actually thought at one point, I wonder if the bird feels pride that it gets to hang on and not fall off. But, you know, the mind does that. But the bigger thing was, the real beauty was, and that I recognize is that peaceful, free, still place
Yes.
of allowing, I don't know, I'll just say it that way. That's all I can say. But that seems to be, it's almost like, did the watch find me? Did the bird, whatever, find me? But, you know, I don't get into too much of that. I don't know what the answers are on all those things, but I just know that for me, that peace is what I'm always looking for. And apparently that peace is what I am. So, you know, that kind of freedom, I like it to be freedom. It's freedom to giggle no matter what, freedom to have the heart just be free.
Yes.
Anyway, I wanted to share that, and thanks for your sharing.
No, that's very beautiful in a way that relates to the question that Esther was asking about celebration.
Magdi, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to speak up for me, because I don't know if it's my phone or what, but
yes,
I have trouble hearing it.
The volume. Oh yeah, you're right.
Oh yes, thank you.
Yeah, I was saying that yes, this in a way refers to Esther's question about the celebration. That this is an example of where there is nobody in the way, and beauty. It could be, you know, in this case, a bird. It could be just anything. Just,
yeah,
you know, it doesn't. And there is that aspect of life that is available to us, which is the beauty, the love, the celebration, in which there is no separation. There isn't any effort. There isn't anybody doing anything. One finds oneself in celebration, in love, in joy, in wonder. This, you know, just the freshness of being, and our true experience is that, and it, in every moment there is that what you just described, and then very quickly, in some cases, I'm not saying all cases, in some cases very quickly, the me thinking mind, you know, want to position, sort of thought wants to position somebody, wants to position a me in relation to whatever, in relation to, and then it gets engaged in this, okay, you know, let me see, maybe I can move a little bit to the left, and like playing chess, you know. And the more we come to the appreciation of presence, the recognition of presence, the effortlessness of being, the more our life opens up effortlessly to the beauty, the joy, to the freedom, to the transparency. You see, so yeah, it's that's the celebration. That's the
Yeah.
That's our true nature revealing itself.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just happens by itself, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah. Yeah.
It's
The more that happens, Mag, no, I don't know. I'm sorry. Were you talking?
I want to say that
Oops.
in the cosmos is in constant creation, constant expression.
Yes.
At this moment, right now, is a moment of utter wonder.
Yeah. I guess in a way, wonder without thinking. Yes.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I guess in a way, one could say wonder without thinking.
Yes.
I mean, using word. Yeah.
I mean, thought may arise about
Yeah.
a variety of things, in its proper
Yeah.
place, but the wonder of thought.
Yeah. Yes.
Wonder of
Yes.
thought.
Yeah. The more it happens, the more that it seems to let go of. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to explain it, and I'm not going to be very effective with language. But it's more like a thought is not trying to go to thought to appreciate it. It's and trying to make something out of it. It's just at that place, and even when thought comes in, that's allowed too, and that can be part of the celebration. I mean, it moves to and it opens and blossoms, but I don't tend to judge that or judge anything. I just am that still place or whatever, and the more that happens, usually the more that it seems to train. I don't know if this is the best way to say. Maybe it trains the mind of the thought aspects of trying to make it into language and words and all that. Even though one could do that to do for some purpose or something, to write poetry or something like that or whatever. But in this particular case, it's the love that it's like being in love. It's like we're just no more. There's nothing you can do about it. You're helpless. That's a me part.
Nice to be helpless in love.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
I say it's nice to be helpless in love. It's a good place.
Yes.
It's a good place to be helpless.
Yeah, I have not particularly liked that.
No.
It's been very fearful for me. But that's just that's my stuff. Anyway,
the more we recognize the beauty and the love and the effortlessness of it, and that there isn't anything that we are doing, the more we trust it. We trust that that non-doing that reveals the love, reveals the freedom, while the doing and not trusting, they relate to protecting something, to safeguarding something.
Yeah. Yep. I see that on with the becoming, hanging on to the me, being attached to this non-person, being attached to a person, whatever the belief of a me. It's just oh yeah, I see it. There's still a part of me, there's still the parts of me that says I don't want to let go. I mean, so I think it's like I do and I don't. There's just still I just know that. I know that there's a part of me that says I'm not letting go. It's sort of like somebody maybe puts you on the merry-go-round, or I don't know, or a swing or something when you're small, and and maybe you shouldn't trust them or trust everything, but sometimes there is that trust, and there's just a letting go of it, and then there's that giggle, and there's that happiness, and and just allowing it to be, and then one trusts that more and more. I mean, or even when it shows itself again, smiles ahead of time before it even happens, so to speak, I guess.
Whenever we are whatever we are holding on to,
Yes.
imaginary. We're holding on to the past, and
Yeah.
the past is gone. There is
Well,
so we're holding on to imaginary impressions, to shadows.
yeah.
Or the holding on is a habit to
Yes.
contract,
Yes.
to place personal conditions, first to place a personal self, and then to place personal conditions. It's a habit that, although we may come to the understanding that love and beauty are effortless and they're not personal, it's not about somebody, they're not contained. The more although we come to understand that, the habit of contracting, of resisting, of holding on is a little bit harder to die. It doesn't sort of go with the snap of a finger. But in life, there are various opportunities that are made available to you that will bring that tendency to resist, to hold on up to the surface for you to see it.
Yes.
Seeing that
That's
tendency, there is wisdom. Just in the seeing, in the
yes.
there is the old model, and then of
Yes.
course, seeing the old model, we don't proceed further down that alley. Yeah.
One thing, like when I really, the me starts building up or whatever, and I start creating a narrative and a story and all that kind of stuff, and it seems to get deeper and deeper, and it seems like this, one is apparently being lost in it or whatever, but it's looking at it like the thoughts, because it always is thoughts and narrative, and I'm creating an imaginary me, and I can't keep it. One of the things that seems to help to dissolve it, or at least seems to show its falsity, to show that it's not true, is sometimes I go straight to it, direct. I go straight to it and go, there's these thoughts. I don't have to say I got to get out of these. It's almost like there's a paradox in some of this stuff, because it's almost, those little finger things where you stick your finger in them, and I don't know what they're called, but you try to pull your finger out and it tightens up. The more you try to pull your finger out.
Handcuffs.
What'd you say?
Chinese handcuffs, they call them.
Oh,
The harder you pull, the tighter they get. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, there's such a paradox, and all of a sudden, because of going to satsang and hearing you and hearing something and doing this, that starts to be seen. And a lot of times I actually purposely say, I don't want to get too much into trying to play around with it too much, but I purposely, it's to see the falsity in it as I go, well, like a thought comes up and says, well, you're just, you're less than, and you'll never be able to do this because you're too fearful, and whatever the stuff is that's going on, it's ever being repeated, and the patterns or whatever. And but a lot of times I see the thoughts are what's creating, to me, it seems like what's creating the suffering. Those thoughts weren't there, I wouldn't be suffering. Like when I'm watching the bird and its feathers blowing in the wind. But sometimes I just go try to hang on, try to grab that. Can you grab any of those thoughts? Can you do any of that? And I can never grab them, because there's a thought about grabbing that. I can never grab a thought.
John, don't worry so much about the thoughts, but about the belief, that I am John.
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand, because I understand what you're saying, and that's what gets said. Okay, it's the belief, that's what the identity is, that's what the personal self is, and so forth and so on.
A thought is like the weather. It's like the weather. It's an unfolding. Yeah. But what is inside the thought is the belief that
Yes.
there is a personal perceiver that is perceiving this thought, that this thought is my personal thought.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. Okay, I hear what you're saying. I may not get everything.
It's not a personal thought. It is just a universal vibration.
Yeah. But I think that's what I'm saying to some degree. It's not that I'm not hearing what you're saying, because I can tweak that, but it's more like, because to me it does dissolve that belief, because when I can't in direct experience of that happening, in other words, that's arising, that's appearing and disappearing. If I can't find a me, if I can't find that belief, if I can't, it sort of dissolves the belief. And then there's this sort of letting go of that. And the more that happens, the more the mind doesn't go there to play with that game.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, John.
Okay. Thank you, Magdi.
Thanks, John. Okay. Rahul, I see that you wrote something here. You say, can we call our favorite soul in our womb to be born, and how many days the soul enters the womb? Can we call our favorite soul in our womb to be born, and in how many days the soul enters the womb? Rahul, I'm sorry, I don't really know what you are talking about. I don't know much about souls. I don't have any experience of souls. I aware of perceptions, sensations, thoughts, and the elephant in the room being awareness, that the reality that perceives. But I don't know much about soul, so that I cannot answer. That sounds like maybe a religious question that maybe should be addressed to somebody else, like a rabbi or a priest or somebody. I don't know. I don't mean, maybe somebody else. Anyways, so any questions?
Hey, Maggie.
Hey, Frank. Hello, Frank.
Hey, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Again, I have one of these questions that I'm not sure how I'm going to ask it, but I'll do my best.
Okay.
Oh, this is a body-mind level question, of course. Although I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm just saying whatever comes up, whatever comes up.
Okay.
So I've been stuck with this idea of one of my fears is public humiliation, and I've dealt with this my whole life. And I'm in the business world, so I've dealt with this kind of thing, at business meetings. And anytime there's like public speaking on my part, there's always a sense of feeling, oh, I'm going to be shamed. I want to feel public humiliation. So these past couple of weeks, I've been thinking about, this in terms of non-duality and awareness, like the idea that somebody can fall from grace, like in public life, somebody can fall from grace, and you have these people judging this person. And so, and I'm thinking to myself, or I had this thought, well, that's just like thoughts judging other thoughts, because there's really nothing to judge other than thoughts. Awareness certainly doesn't judge. It's all one. There's only one thing going on, really. So there's nothing to judge. But on the body-mind level, it seems very real. And so when somebody, I guess my question would be like, when somebody's judging somebody, like let's say somebody falls from grace in public life, and society's just like looking at this person going, oh, horrible person, bad persons. I don't have to say any examples. We all can come up with somebody. But so in that case, that judging that's going on, which seems to be very real, because it's, you can't really quantify it, but it's there because you hear people talking and saying similar things about that same person. So what is really going on there? Is awareness in any way connected to this, or is this totally just in the body-mind world of thoughts and nothing at all to do with the awareness?
Yes. Yeah. So in order to judge somebody or something, we need to separate ourselves from them. We need to be not them. I am not you. So that's to start with, because I cannot judge. My right arm is not going to judge my left arm. So I need to separate myself from the other in order to judge them. And the way to separate myself from the other is to think of myself as somebody and the other as somebody else. So it starts with, I am somebody. I am the body mind. I am a person. I am the image. I am the man. I am the hero. I am the teacher. I am whatever I am, great baseball player. So I identify myself in a certain way, whichever way, maybe a very complex way or a very naive way, whatever it is, a very simple way to identify myself. As soon as I identify myself, I've separated myself. Of course, in terms of consciousness is not an object. It's not like an orange that you can split in 2 slices or 20 slices, or it's not like that. Consciousness is noumenal, it's non-phenomenal. So it doesn't apply, the whole concept of separation doesn't apply to consciousness. So separation arises as a belief, a thought that is unexamined, the thought that I, meaning I, consciousness is only one I. If you look at what I is in your experience, you ask yourself, what is this I that I perceive, I hear? What is it that hears? What is it that perceives? It's not the instrument. It's not the body. The body is an instrument. That which perceives, that which hears is I. I meaning awareness, presence, effortless awareness. So when the thought, the unexamined thought arises that I am the instrument, I am the body, I'm a male, I'm a female, I'm a dancer, I'm a swimmer, I'm a teacher, whatever. I'm a good teacher today. Hopefully I'll stay a good teacher tomorrow, whatever. Or businessman, good businessman, successful businessman. As soon as you identify yourself with the body mind, you have separated yourself from your true nature. You've separated yourself from everything, everybody. And when you separate yourself, there is an identity. And now you are in the business of protecting the identity, maintaining the identity. You are the identity because you are this identity, and you are very precious. You are going to do your utmost to maintain yourself. So there is a confusion that has happened because we know that I is eternal. As soon as we transfer the eternity of I to the body, now we are the body mind. The body mind is not eternal. So now we have an impossible task. The impossible task is I, as the body mind, where is my eternity? What do I grab onto? What do I need to do as a body mind in order to recover my eternity? But not only my eternity, also consciousness is freedom, because it's the one reality. There is nothing opposing it. And consciousness is the creator of all creation. It is the reality of all, of everything. Everything that appears within consciousness at zero distance from consciousness. So not only now as the body mind do I have to figure out my eternity, but I'm also looking for where is my freedom, where is my creativity, where is my beauty, where is the love that I am as a body mind. Good luck. Good luck. You are now in the sense of separation. You are definitely going to experience being praised, and you're going to experience being taken off that pedestal. You're going to go high and you're going to go low. There is no doubt about that. We all know that. We know that experientially. We all know how hard it is to maintain a good image, how hard we've tried to maintain a good image, a nice body that people like, a nice speech that people agree with and say, oh, that was really great, making the best decision. Oh, wow, I really like what you said, in the conference room. Oh, wow, you said something so smart. Thank goodness it's recorded. I can hear it and repeat it at home. We know that game. That game is doomed, Frank. It is doomed. You can succeed, and then you're going to fall, whoa, from the top all the way down. And on the way down, it's not going to be one fall. You're going to go until you hit the bottom. There's going to be a lot of broken bones. That is how it is when we identify ourselves with a body mind, with a form. Well, no matter how beautiful the image is, it is on a time clock. And people's minds are as fickle as the wind. Why? Because everybody is now identified as a me. And they're looking for what you're looking for. They're looking for the peace, the happiness, the eternity, the freedom of their true nature. But because they've left true nature, so-called left true nature, they're identified, they don't know where to look. They think that we're going to join this group. We're going to be happy. We're going to control these resources. We'll control resources and take care of the family, of the tribe, and we'll be happy. We're going to get to the top of the mountain and build our homes on top of the mountain. And when we get to the top of the mountain, we'll build our homes on top of the mountain, we'll have the best view, we'll be happy. We'll be free. We'll be beyond the sense of limitation. How many people can build their homes on the top of the mountain? 100? And then 10,000 want to take them down. They cannot take them down because they're very powerful on top. But at some point, they will figure a way to take them down. And the dance goes on and on and on and on. So what is important to understand is that the body mind may be an engineer, maybe a businessman, maybe a teacher, maybe a mother, whatever. The body mind is what it is. It has its limitations. It has limitations. And the body mind is part of the universe. It appears to us as the universe appears to us, as the sunshine appears to us, as the wind appears to us, as the sound of the birds appears to us, the body-mind appears to us. So the body-mind is not separate from the wind, from the earth, from the sunshine, from the oceans, from the bacteria that's from the lava that's in the volcano. It's not separate. It is an integral part of the whole. But what I am is the shepherd. I am the shepherd of the sheep. I take care of the earth. I take care of the body. I take care of my neighbor. I take care of the oceans. I take care of the rivers. I take care of, the mind. Being the caretaker does not mean that you are that which you are caretaking for. You are not limited by that which you are caretaking to or caretaking for. You are caretaking for everything, effortlessly. There is hunger, then the thought arises, gee, maybe I can make a salad. The thought arises, have a pasta today. So it arises to you. All what is required arises to you. Oh, gee, I need to pay the mortgage. So, okay, let me see. I have to work. So the thought arises, well, maybe I will go to the office and try to put together this project that can bring in an additional bonus, whatever. All of the thoughts arise to you. The world arises to you. The body arises to you. And they arise to you, and they have a certain manner in which they arise that draws your attention. If you walk by the plant you have in your home and they're dry, it draws your attention. Oh, the thought arises to you. You're not thinking the thought; it's arising to you. This looks dry. It needs to be watered. So, as consciousness, as that which we are, there is complete freedom. There is no judgment within consciousness, because consciousness is the one reality. What would it judge itself? It's one reality. It is the peace, the joy, the happiness, the freedom. And whenever we identify ourselves, then we are on a journey back to recover our true nature, to recover the freedom, the joy, the peace, the happiness, the non-judgment. And in a way, that's the journey. That's a quotes unquote human experience, that we go out in the world trying to find everybody liking us. We say, well, that's the way, let me find what is the best dance I can do with this person and that person and this person, so they can like me, so they can fulfill my inner insecurity. And my inner insecurity is because I've left my true nature, so-called. I didn't really leave my true nature. You cannot leave your true nature. But it seemingly I've left my true nature. Now I'm experiencing my sense of separation. And it's impossible for us to be happy away from happiness. When we leave our true nature, we cannot be happy, because we left the happiness that we are, the inherent peace and freedom of consciousness. We leave it whenever we identify as anything. And whenever we leave our true nature, there is a calling within us. Within us, there is a calling to return to the peace and the happiness of our true nature. And the sooner we realize that it's not out there in the world, it is not via getting popular or having a smooth life in business, it's not via having great relationships or a great bank account or a good body or a great home. The sooner we realize that what we are looking for is that which we are, then we turn our attention in a different direction. And as we turn our attention in different direction towards the source, towards the transparency that we are, this effortless presence that we are, this aware presence that we are, and we become more and more in tune with it, aligned with it, sort of sensing it, then our life, as a result, is an after effect, let's say, of the alignment with consciousness. Our life becomes sweet and smooth. I don't need to dance for you in order to like me. I dance with you, not for you in order for you to like me. No, because you are myself. You are my brother, my sister, my very being. I dance with you. I listen to you. You listen to me. Not because I am seeking anything, but just because that's what love and beauty is this harmony, this is a recognition that you are my very self. I would never want any lesser for you and more for me. No. Of course, we are in different situations, different conditions. And so we live our life, but with that core understanding, which is the understanding of love, the understanding of our true nature, which is our wholeness, our totality, our intimacy, our caring.
Yeah, thanks, Maggie. So I guess the idea would be that instead of like when I get these thoughts about, oh, you know, these people are judging me, or this one's judging me, or whatever, or they're judging, I guess the idea is just to go back to my true self by that.
Yes, consciousness cannot be judged. They're just judging an image that they have within themselves. Within themselves, they have an image that is so-called, they call it Frank, but it's an internal job that they're doing for themselves. They are unhappy because they're judging an image that's within them. They're judging themselves because that image is within them. And they think you're out there. They think, oh, no, I'm judging Frank. No, I'm not judging myself. I'm judging Frank. Where is Frank? Oh, Frank is this and that and that. Now here they are in their own, Frank is this and that and that and that. They're reading their own mind. Frank is an image within their own mind. It is a firing of their own neurons and their own nervous system and their own cellular way of being. That's what Frank is for them. You see? So when somebody judges me, there is nothing happening here, because what they're judging doesn't exist outside of their own mind. There is nothing here that can be judged, because I am not an image. Not only I don't have an image of myself, but I know that I'm not an image. Even if I had an image of myself, it's just an image. I am not the image that I have of myself. And I don't care about having images of myself. So I don't have images of myself. But I'm not an image. Whatever they're judging, I don't know what they're judging. I don't know. They call it Magdi, but I don't know. I have no idea what's going on for them in terms of their mind. But I know that whatever they're judging is an inner trip, an inner journey that's going on within their own mind that is unhappy. It's unhappy for them, and it's unhappy for me if I buy into it. If I buy into it, meaning I say, oh yeah, I am that image. Oh yeah, they're judging me. So now there is an image of myself here, which has nothing to do with their image of you, because they're in their own neurons, they are firing in their own neurons. Now I have an image of myself. Now my own neurons are firing an image that I'm calling Frank or Magdi. So now I am unhappy because I am believing myself to be a neuronic process, a body-mind process of neurons and images that are firing within this body-mind. So now I'm experiencing myself as a limited body, limited image, a limited self. And I say, oh, well, that's because of them. They've caused that to me, which is another sub-routine within the image that I have of myself. There is a subroutine, and that subroutine is saying, oh, I'm suffering and I'm really stuck there because of them. But there is no them. The them is just a spin within my own neuronic psychosis, you say. But you see that all this process is just a process of thinking and feeling that is arising within and to I awareness. And awareness is unaffected by anything that arises. And as awareness recognizes itself, it's more in the joy. It's more in the, oh, there is an image, oh, Magdi, you know, they really don't like you. Then awareness goes, oh, well, I hope they feel better tomorrow. Yeah. Oh, Magdi, they're planning something to hurt you. Oh, gee, okay, let me see. What is it that they're planning? They're planning to rob you. What do I have? What do I have there on? Okay, okay, I'll lock the door tonight. But awareness is not protecting anything because it is the reality of everything. And the more there is an understanding and alignment with that understanding that awareness is the reality, the one reality, the reality of everything and everybody, there is a synchronicity, there is a harmony in the dream, and there is a smoothness that happens in the dance, rather than the dance being, it sort of becomes more harmonious, effortlessly. It's not like, oh, let me see how to figure it out. No, effortlessly. And that's the magic.
All right. Good stuff, Magdi. Thanks.
Okay, Frank. Okay. All right. Okay, well, so thank you all. Very lovely to be with you, Holger and Frank. Yes. And Lisa, and Charlie, John, Peter, Eshiva. Tara just reminded me that we won't be meeting next Thursday. We'll be meeting on Saturday. Anyways, I will send a note to everybody. Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you, Magdi. Thank you, everybody.